Good day and welcome to Conversations with AARP in the Virgin Islands. I'm Troy Deshabert Schuster, State Director of AARP in this territory, and as always, it's a great pleasure to be with you to bring you important information affecting your life in this territory. We welcome to today's conversation with Matthew Padgett, the Director of Consumer Affairs, and Geraldine Vaval, Esquire, Legal Counsel for the Virgin Islands Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, on issues important to Virgin Islands consumers. AARP, a nonprofit, nonpartisan member organization, has been advocating for legislative changes to protect consumers from fraud and to impose harsher penalties against persons who prey on the vulnerable population. In 2013, AARP launched the Fraud Watch Network to empower consumers, especially older Americans, to spot and avoid those who seek to prey on them and to provide support and guidance to victims and their families when fraud happens. Recognizing the importance of protecting the well being of Virgin Islanders 50 plus, AARP and the Virgin Islands Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs created the Virgin Islands Consumer Protection and Fraud Prevention Series. This series, which contains interviews with fraud prevention specialists, provides support and guidance to Virgin Islanders on federal and local policies that protect consumers and enforce laws. Today, we will hear from the Virgin Islands Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs on consumer guarantees, warranties, and refunds under the consumer protection laws of the United States. And again, we welcome Matthew Padgett and Attorney Geraldine Vaval. Welcome.
Good day, Troy.
Hi,
Thanks for having us.
good day.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. And so, as we jump right into today's show, we've been hearing a lot in the news about this new law requiring that businesses accept two forms of payment. Um, can you clarify that for us and tell us what consumers should expect when they visit businesses in the territory?
Yes, good day to Troy and the listening audience. So, the law was signed into effect in October of 2019 by Governor Bryan, and the law specifically states that any business and any branch, department, division, or agency of the government of the Virgin Islands shall offer at least two payment options to a consumer. Payment options include cash, credit, or debit card, check or money order, and electronic transfer. However, it's very specific in stating that one of the payment options must be cash and one of the payment options must be credit or debit card. So it's at least two. They can offer electronic transfer, they can offer cash, but they have to give you the options of paying with cash and a debit card.
Okay. And if we go into a business and they're not accepting debit or credit card, then what's the next step?
So the consumer has the ability to call DLCA and file a complaint or file a complaint on the DLCA website, naming the business, what exactly was displayed, the interaction with the business, and we'll take it from there.
And from your perspective, are businesses being compliant or are you getting a lot of complaints?
Well, for the most part, businesses are being compliant, but there will always be that business that is going to give pushback, you know. And what is interesting is that the fines are very steep. The fine, the first offense, it's $1,000 for the first offense, and not less than 3,000, but not more than 5,000 for subsequent offenses. Now we've run into businesses where we went to this one business where they had just gotten their debit card machines, and the bank had not come out to explain to them how to set it up. So in that instance, they requested a waiver for that specific reason. But we have to have evidence showing that you are in fact attempting to comply with the law.
Now, when did this become law precisely?
In 2019, it became law in 2019, but because of the pandemic and everything else that followed after that, we took um, in 2020 and 2021, we were educating the public about the law. So now in 2022, we're now actually enforcing the law.
Okay, and when did it become mandatory? I mean, I understand it became a law in 2019, but then what was like the drop dead date for it to go into effect?
I think what the commissioner said was January 1st, 2022 is when we started enforcing it. So in 2020 and 2021, we were doing talking about it on our radio shows, every opportunity we got on social media, on our social page. Last month we were at a radio station discussing it. So we did a lot of campaigning in terms of getting it out to the public. So now we're actually enforcing it as of this January 1, 2022.
So businesses in the Virgin Islands have had more than 2 years, going on 3 years to
Yes,
become compliant.
yes,
And so many of them aren't. I mentioned to you before the show that I visited a business in St. Croix this morning, and they were not accepting debit or credit cards. They told me either cash or check. Not even PayPal, not Zelle, no way of transferring money, just cash or check. And they didn't seem to be moved to get a credit card machine. So I guess I may have to report that. But but it's
reported, and
interesting.
one of our enforcement officers will take a visit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Troy, if I could add on that, the intent of the law, it's more businesses that are intentionally not up to code. So regarding like I know with broadband VI or via whatever you have, sometimes that service is interrupted and they're unable to take
Sure.
credit or debit. Businesses in that scenario, I believe the law specifies 24 hours they have to remedy that issue. So the intent of the law isn't to get a business when they're having problems. It's businesses that are intentionally or deliberately not coming up to code.
Exactly.
Right. Understood. Understood. So, in accordance with the Virgin Islands Code, the Virgin Islands Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs has several roles in relation to the statutory rights and obligations set out in the Consumer Protection Law of 1973. How does your department ensure that consumers are protected from sellers who violate their rights when buying goods and services in this territory?
Thanks, and again, good day. So I think the first and foremost, our goal is to educate the businesses. Um, Obviously, we would rather have businesses stay in compliance and not have it get to the point to where a consumer feels aggrieved or like they may have been taken advantage of. So we try and stay as proactive as possible with business education and consumer education to make sure that the consumer understands the rights that they have when making purchases. As far as if there is any violations of law, we have internal administrative process, and we can also assist with. We can't represent consumers in small claims court, but we can assist them, give them guidance on how to get that accomplished if a solution can't be solved between the business and us, with us being kind of a third party mitigator for any proposed remedies.
Thank you. And as we're all aware, being on a small island, we tend to order a lot of things online, purchasing from businesses on the mainland and having it shipped in by United States Postal Service or by ocean freight or some other express courier. To the extent of the law, does the consumer protections apply to goods and services obtained outside of the territory or just within?
So with respect to services, the services that are would be the if the services are not rendered here in the territory, it's rendered in the the mainland, we would turn the issue over to their consumer protection agency for that state. For goods that are received here, we can in fact handle those. Our law has it prohibits basically prohibits deceptive or unconscionable trade practices, and it's very specific. And one of the things that the agency can do, as Matt said, with respect to administrative fines, we also have subpoena powers, and we can actually bring an action on behalf of the government of the Virgin Islands if we're talking about a large population that's affected by these unfair trade practices. The consumers also have the options of filing a private case against the business as well.
Okay, so just to be completely clear, if I order something from um, Mary Jane business in Southern Texas, and it's sent to me and it's not what I ordered, and I feel like I've been defrauded, um, my first step will then be to report it to the local Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, and then you all refer it to the authority in Texas. How does that work precisely?
So I would say the first step in anything like that would be to contact the retailer that you purchased the product from,
Right.
and confirm that they don't have a warranty or return process in place.
Right.
If they say they don't accept returns or exchanges, your next step could be contacting the manufacturer directly if there's a defect in the product, or if there's something wrong with the product. If the product is damaged through shipping or handling or anything like that, obviously you would want to contact FedEx, UPS, or USPS, depending on the method of shipment. And if all of those three avenues fail, then reach out to the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs. Make sure you have any relevant receipts, shipping information, and the product information to deliver to us. And then we would reach out on the consumer's behalf to North Carolina, Florida, Texas, wherever the product was originated.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And please explain to us the differences between guarantees, warranties, and refunds. Refunds sort of stands for itself, but guarantees and warranties, if you can nuance that for us.
So a guarantee is basically just a statement that a product or service is going to meet specific requirements. A warranty goes more in depth. It's more of a legal contract or a legal advisement saying that this is what we say our product will do. If it doesn't, because of defect from our manufacturer or from our process, these are the remedies available, whether it's exchange with the manufacturer or money back under the warranty terms. So that's the overall difference between a guarantee and a warranty. Is a guarantee is basically just a statement that we have a warranty, and a warranty goes into the specifics.
Okay. And so businesses then should be clear as to whether or not to give a guarantee or warranty.
So they're required. I believe the law was passed in Congress in 1975. It's the Magnuson-Moss warranty case. So basically, it doesn't require manufacturers to give a warranty, but it requires them to detail that warranty if there is one in place for the consumer. So it has to be either included in the packaging or posted clearly at the time of service or sale.
Okay, so then, in other words, the consumer is only eligible for a guarantee or warranty if the supplier or the manufacturer specifically states that it is guaranteed or warranted.
With the exception being vehicles, and I'm sure there's other small exceptions, but any vehicle sold in the U.S. Virgin Islands by law has to come with some kind of warranty or guarantee, depending on the mileage, depending on the age and mileage of the vehicle. And I would encourage anyone to look up the Virgin Island codes, because obviously we have limited time here, and it's a pretty comprehensive document regarding the dealer requirements for offering a warranty with automobiles.
Okay, so now it's only the dealer that has to give the guarantee or the warranty on the sale of an automobile. Or is it like if I were to sell my vehicle to somebody, my neighbor or a friend, do I have to give some kind of a guarantee or warranty as well?
The law only relates to a licensed dealer sale. Private party sales aren't subject to our warranty laws in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah, the Virgin Islands lemon law only applies to dealerships.
Okay.
So it's very important. It's very important that when you're buying a car, there's certain things that you should do, to avoid getting into the pitfalls of dealing with any issues on the back end.
There are some third-party warranties that are transferable.
Mhm.
And if somebody has purchased a warranty on their vehicle and you're purchasing it from them privately, I would inquire as to if the warranty is transferable.
Exactly.
But if it's not expressly stated that it's transferable, there's no requirement under VI law that says an individual party has to warranty or guarantee any sale of a vehicle.
Exactly.
Now, I'm aware of one individual here in St. Croix who purchased a new automobile from a local authorized dealer of that make. And shortly after that, something went wrong with it, and he took it back to the dealership. They fixed it. Maybe like days or weeks later, the same thing went wrong again. Took it back, fixed it. It happened about 4 or 5 times. So when does this lemon law kick in? Can you explain that to us about the lemon law, and when should that car have been replaced?
So basically, the lemon law, and again, this is a comprehensive legal document that I'm not going to be able to do it justice off the top of my head. But basically, if a single issue occurs more than 3 times with the local dealer and once attempted repair with the manufacturer, at that point it would qualify, and we could go through the lemon or the vehicle buyback. Again, that's within 90 days. So if a non-serviceable part, say there's an engine issue that you have repaired, and day 62 comes along and that same issue pops up, that would be 2 relevant issues, 2 connected issues. If you have the repair done and it's 2.5 years down the line and that same issue pops up, that starts it over as far as the lemon law. So you would have to have 3 attempts to remedy that at the dealership, along with a manufacturer's attempt to repair it. And again, it's within, I believe, 90 days
90
from
days.
the service, or 3,000 miles,
Or 3,000 miles, exactly.
whichever comes first.
Yes.
Okay, so if I may just dive in a little bit deeper. So let's say that you buy an automobile, or you've had this automobile, and on day 1, right, you have a problem with it, and you take it to the dealership, they fix it under warranty. Then on day 75, it happens again. You take it in, they fix it, but then on day 100, it goes wrong again. Are you starting over a new 90-day period because now you've gone to the 100th day, or how does that work?
So every time the problem comes up, it starts the clock over. So if on day 89 you experience an issue and they fix it, and you get 90 more days, and then on day 89 if it comes up again, so that would be 2 of the same issues, as long as it's the same defect that's showing up. So the clock doesn't start over per se. Once you have an issue, it's not 90 days to have all 4 issues, the 3 with the dealer and 1 with the manufacturer repaired. So it extends it out every time there's an issue. And I don't have the code in front of me, but if they have the vehicle for X amount of days and they can't get it repaired, that also, it doesn't have to be 3 times. It can be 1 repair that they just can't fix.
I have the code up, and the code specifically said the motor vehicle is out of service to successfully repair nonconformities for a cumulative total of 40 business days, whichever comes first. So they get 3 attempts from the manufacturer. No, 3 attempts from the dealer and 1 attempt from the manufacturer, or 40 business days that the vehicle is out of service.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is something that's very important for the people of the Virgin Islands to understand, because many don't understand what the lemon law is all about. And I think that a lot of people are, kind of run around in circles by dealerships. I mean, I've heard of several stories.
And
And
especially now with there's been a shortage for specific components or, parts, that gets it into a gray area, because if they diagnose the issue and they they identify how to repair it, but the dealership just physically can't get the parts to repair it, technically, I don't think that qualifies under the Lemon Law. Again, I'm not an attorney, so it would have to, I would default to our counsel on that. But typically it's for problems that cannot be repaired, not we're just waiting for, X number of parts to come in.
Exactly. The lemon law also is very important here in the territory because we tend to have a lot of people that buy used cars, and they run into a lot of problems because they're not taking into consideration the mileage that's on the car and whether or not there's a warranty, or, from the manufacturer, or the car is actually being sold as is, and people don't really understand that whole process.
Precisely, precisely. And looking at construction, especially after hurricanes, when we have many contractors from off island, but at any time really, can you explain to consumers the importance of having warranties and guarantee provisions in construction contracts?
Yeah, so construction, obviously, right now after Irma and Maria, we saw a drastic influx of roof repairs, house repairs, just in general. Um, the islands didn't have enough contractors to make all the repairs, so inevitably we got people coming in, offering their services. Unfortunately, a lot of the people that were offering services may not have been licensed contractors, may not have been authorized or approved to operate in the Virgin Islands. When something like that comes up, unless they're representing themselves as a business, the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs is a regulatory agency over business practices. So if it's a private party saying, yeah, I can fix your roof, Troy, no problem, it'll be this much, and you say, okay, thanks, that sounds good, and it's kind of a handshake deal, we have no jurisdiction to come in and compel any kind of remedies between you and another private party. With that said, if I come to you and I'm representing myself as Matt's Construction, and you believe that I'm a business, we can take action towards Matt's Construction as though they are a business, regarding the administrative process.
Right.
With warranties and guarantees on labor, one thing I can't encourage more is when you have work done, get it in writing. Make sure that the contract is in writing. Spend the extra couple days and money to have an attorney review that. If especially we see major purchases, $50,000 for a roof, $100,000 for a cottage rebuild. Stuff like that needs to be. You need to protect yourself,
Mhm.
and so not only getting it in writing, but making sure that you communicate to the person doing the work. If you have any subcontractors that are going to come in, this deal is between you and I, not me and your subcontractors. Make sure they understand that too, because we also see that a lot where Johnny Contractor will have subcontractors come in and actually do the work and then say, well, their workmanship isn't up to par. Hey, that's not on me. You have to go after them, because that's not how it works. It's between the purchaser and the contractor that's actually signing the contract.
Exactly.
And just very briefly, as we're running low on time, uh, if somebody does have a contract in place with a construction company and there are guarantees, warranties there, and there's a violation, again, just to be clear, will you all intervene at the Department of Licensing Consumer Affairs, or does that person have to go and hire their own attorney?
No, the first thing they'll do, if they could file a complaint with us, we would bring the individual in and we'll try and work out a settlement. See if administrative fines are necessary because the individual did something wrong. But we'll try and resolve it between the parties. If it can't be resolved, then we would advise the consumer to take it to court.
Okay, thank you. Now, in the last couple of minutes, how can the public learn more about the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs and its work in providing oversight and advocacy for Virgin Islands consumers?
So if they go to our website, the dlca.vi.gov, you can file a complaint. You can read about, a kind of an overview of what it is, what services we provide, and there's contact information for all of us on there. If a consumer has any questions, give me a call. Or send me an email. I'm more than happy to answer questions and try and assist people. The whole goal is to try and keep consumers from getting into a position to where they need us, through education and consumers being as informed as possible. It helps us out. It helps us do our job. We are limited by our staffing numbers, like every other government agency right now. So the people that we do have are working overtime just to try and keep up with the different consumer complaints. So if we can get ahead of something and answer questions or provide guidance before it becomes a complaint, that's obviously the most favorable outcome.
Great. Thank you. And, it's so wonderful that we have this series going on of consumer protection and fraud prevention that affects people throughout the territory, all over the United States, all over the world, really, all kinds of possible frauds. And so we thank both of you for being on our show today and sharing this important information. And we look forward to more and more conversations. As always, 28 minutes goes by quickly, and we don't always have enough time to talk about everything, but we look forward to our next show with you. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Troy.
Yes, and you've been listening to Troy Deshabert-Schuster, State Director of AARP in the Virgin Islands, in conversation with Matthew Padgett, Director of Consumer Affairs, and Geraldine Vaval, Esquire, Legal Counsel for the Virgin Islands Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs. Thank you for joining us. Good day.